I want to acknowledge that we've got several of our participant leaders of the FedGeoDay conference, which is coming up on June 8th and June 9th. Guido Stein, who's the president of the OSGeo US Foundation, is co-chair and organizer of this event. Guido, welcome, and from Boston. And Sophia Liu's also on our committee and been a tremendous contributor to our program. And Lawrence Kramer has been helping me with lightning talks. And I'm sure there are others, but that's the ones. Oh, and Nadine Alamay, who's going to be a speaker, the executive director of the OGC. So at least there's those. So anyway, let me get on to what the heck is FedGeoDay. So FedGeoDay is a conference that's dedicated to helping federal agencies that are growing federal programs using open geospatial ecosystems. And I'll talk about that. My name is Eddie Pickle. I'm the co-chairperson. I'm one of the founders of FedGeoDay. It started back in 2012. And I work as a senior director at Maxar Technologies out in Herndon, Virginia. We do, many of you know Maxar from our imagery, but I run a portfolio of programs working with the federal government and usually about automation. And open source, open data is very key to that. And a lot of my previous work too. Anyway, what is FedGeoDay? Again, it's an annual conference for federal agencies and their technology, NGO, and industry partners. And it's for those who use open geospatial ecosystems to initiate and grow their programs and capabilities. I mean, I'm positive that many of you have attended like the ESRI Federal UC, which is the ESRI's Federal Users Conference here in DC. And it's for people who are working in the ESRI ecosystem to try and do their work better. GeoDC, FedGeoDay is an analog to that for especially geared toward federal agencies and their partners who are using open ecosystems, open technologies to build their programs. So what are these open geospatial ecosystems? Well, they are at least FOSS4G, free open source software for geospatial. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Open collaborative mapping like OpenStreetMap or Youth Mappers or others. Open geoscience challenges, many of you are familiar with SpaceNet or with XView. Open engagements and application challenges. And one of the biggest, the most well-known that I'm familiar with in the DC area is the Census Bureau's Opportunity Project, which has been a major participant in FedGeoDay the last several years. So FedGeoDay, the details are, it's a 2-day virtual conference. I mean, we have been in person until the late unfortunate events, but last year we were virtual. This year we'll be virtual again. On June 8th, we're going to have a program. Our program is, we have a keynote, a number of panels and lightning talks about open ecosystems and federal agencies. And then June 9th will be devoted to training and engagement sessions or hands-on sessions. Our keynote speaker this year is Dr. Shel Gentman, who's a senior scientist at the Farallon Institute and a well-known advocate for open science, open source software, and inclusivity. She was the co-chair of the National Academy's report on open source software policy options for NASA's Earth and Space Sciences group. She leads development of open source and open science best practices for NASA researchers. By training, she's a physical oceanographer focused on remote sensing, doing a lot with ocean temperature data from space. She's the lead scientist on a proposed new NASA satellite called Butterfly, and her recent research focuses on cloud computing for interdisciplinary science, air-sea interaction research, and geophysical algorithm development. And she's actually represents a lot of the topics that we are interested in talking about at FedGeoDay this year, which is, scaling using open technologies. A little bit more about what we're doing on the 8th of June. We have a number of sessions that are related to policy and process. We have an executive roundtable. Nadine's going to be one of the leaders on that. talking about key issues that face agencies that are building their programs through open ecosystems. So we'll have people from open standards, open data, open source software, open mapping, and open and leaders of federal open data programs on that panel. Then we also have a panel on assuring the federal programs open source software and map data supply chain. If last year wasn't the year of COVID-19, it would have been the year of solar winds. And one of the things that we've all got to think about in our programs is security, managing our data and software supply chains. Open source is, people think of it as either really safe or really vulnerable, and we want to dispel a lot of myths there in that panel. Then we have a very interesting panel that'll be, it's being organized by Maggie Colley, who spoke here, I think last month or 2 months ago, about federal agencies that are innovating through OpenStreetMap. There are some tremendous developments now in terms of agencies looking to crowdsource data through, crowdsource authoritative data into US data assets through OpenStreetMap. So that's going to be really interesting. And then we have another panel that's going to be talking about, this is actually one led by the Opportunity Project that's going to be talking about their processes for tackling geospatial challenges through open innovation models within federal agencies. And Sophia has been a real help in organizing that, and we'll be talking about her work there. Then we have several sessions related to technology and software. We have two different open source software panels, one about federal agencies using open source software in their programs, another about federal agencies contributing to open source software. And then we have three machine learning and open ecosystems panels, one about human in the loop, active learning AI, another on open standardized data methodologies, which is a big deal here in the DC area. And another is on open ecosystems for AI ML based object detection and how we grow our overall science capabilities. So that we have a lot of exciting programs. On the 9th, we're going to have a lot of training options. I've already talked to a couple of people who are interested in QGIS. We're going to have a QGIS training. Guido can pipe it. I'm actually not up on all the latest training that we're going to offer on the second day, but at least PostGIS, GeoServer, Teach OSM, and other hands-on sessions will be available. You can get tickets to FedGeoDay right now. Just go to fedgeo.us. You'd think I would have put that in here, but it's pretty easy to Google. Or you can just hit me up on LinkedIn. I can get it to you. I guess somebody's putting it in the chat there, but if you could put the link there, it's got the registration. And then we're going to be offering tickets to the day 2 starting next week. We've got a great set of sponsors. We still have other sponsors coming in. As I mentioned, Guido is the president of OSGeo US. In effect, we are like a local chapter of that with FedGeoDay. And so they are our host sponsor. We've got Maxar and RGI as platinum sponsors. Crunchy Data as our gold sponsor. Right now, GeoSolutions is a silver sponsor. And we have Prominent Edge, Upslope Advisors, and Element 84 as bronze sponsors. So we've got a lot of participation from local area businesses. And we have a great committee. I mentioned Sophia's here tonight. Aaron Kelly from NGA, Steve Jalot, and Chitra Sivanandam from RGI, Maggie from OpenStreetMap, me and Josh Siskin from Maxar, Adam Tim from Crunchy Data, Luis Bermudez from GeoSolutions, Guido from OSGeo, I mentioned, and Daniel Dufour from GeoSurge. Anyway, that's as much as I can tell you for now, because as time allows. I don't know, Tom, I can hang around for questions, or if anybody wants to ask any, happy to take them. I can look at the chat here.
Certainly.
Lawrence, thanks for putting the link in the chat there.
Yep, no worries. And if anybody wants to participate with the lightning talk or anything, feel free to shoot me an email. I'll throw my email in the chat.
Cool.
So we had 2 questions in the chat that I don't think anybody's answered yet. Somebody asked, what is the time frame of the conference each day?
We're going to start at 9, and we'll probably end the program around 4, and then have a networking opportunity. So one of the things that we had last year, Tom, with, so the conference will be 9 to 4 roughly each day, with time for networking afterwards. Yes, we are going to record it. In fact, we're going to record, I don't know, Guido, do you want to talk about that? We're going to try and record every session. Oh yeah, so Guido's noting that the sessions on the first day will definitely be recorded. It's kind of up to the instructors on the second day whether they'll be recorded or not.
Yeah, so yeah, we're right now we're still working on picking the right platform. There's a lot of platforms for conferences and we're trying to find it, but we're planning on recording as much of it as we can. And the first day, like Eddie was saying, is going to be program. It's going to be panels of people. And the second day, actually, we're going to have hands-on training, and we haven't released the schedule for the second day or any of the details yet, but that's coming by next Monday. We should have that up. And that's going to be much more like, hands-on training, but also we're putting together a session for GeoCloud architecture for those of you who are managers or architects, and talking about sort of the options and how that plays out in the open source world, because there are so many options and it's just an issue of which way you want to go.
Yeah. Yes, it would be great. We had the comment in there, Tom. It'd be great if day 2 training sessions were recorded too. But again, that's up to the individuals. We've got, and also we've got, I think, we have Randy Hale teaching the QGIS class. I'm not sure if Randy is understandable via recording. I think you have to actually be live with Randy to understand a word that he says. So, anyway.
Hey, somebody was asking about the BLS and if they were participating, Eddie, and I'm not sure if I've run into anybody from the BLS yet.
Oh, you just have today.
Yes. Well, Mike, I think our program may be full, but I will reach out to you to make sure that we're talking about BLS and, cover it somewhat.
Yeah, we have lots of great geospatial data that needs to get marketed, And we
again, our focus, there's way more geo than we have in FedGeoDay. Again, FedGeoDay is the day for open ecosystems, open source software, open mapping like OpenStreetMap, open challenges, open engagements. So that's our particular focus on FedGeoDay.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to talk to some people at my office, at my agency, and we'll be in touch. Yeah.
Thanks.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and you can certainly register and attend.
Yep. Oh, yes. And it's free for .gov.edu and .mil attendees.
And NGOs.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any final questions for Eddie? All right. Well, if you think of anything else, I assume Eddie and other folks are going to hang out for a little while longer. Just type them in the chat. And we will address them. So thank you very much, Eddie. I've attended FedGeoDay a number of times, and it's a fantastic event. And I'm sure it'll be great this year as well.